Citadels is an RTS based on Arthurian legend, published by Bit Composer and developed by Games Distillery. The concept was one of the things that appealed to me the most in this game. I liked the idea of trying to unite Britain as King Arthur. It was a shame then that the game provided so little incentive or opportunity to care about the story. There is no voice acting whatsoever, nor any in-game music to immerse you. The only narration comes in the form of a few paltry sentences at the start of each mission, with any notion of engaging storytelling supplanted by fade transitions. The Knights of the Round Table appear to be available in card form as perks. But before I go any further, I should point out that a lot of the game's mechanics actually work well. Resource gathering is pretty solid, and there's a logic to how you build things and train units. It's not instantaneous, and your peasants are required to fetch the necessary materials from the town hall beforehand. Although the realism of this is somewhat hampered by the fact that structures just rise out of the ground as they're built, it's not as immersion-shattering as the system used in Stronghold, whereby, when selected for military service, peasants undergo a training montage so brief that it consists of a single fade transition. There's also a deconstruct feature, where your peasants dismantle buildings for materials. And by dismantle, I of course mean that they hammer it back into the ground from whence it came, but it is a feature that a lot of RTSs have been missing. There's an automatic formation of infantry at the front, followed by ranged, then siege, then non-military units when selecting multiple unit types, which is another neat feature, and in spite of it occupying half the screen, I do quite like the look of the UI. It's also worth mentioning that the game moves at an unbearably slow pace. The first mission took 72 minutes, much of which consisted of waiting, apparently the primary gameplay mechanic for Citadels, seeing as there's no option for increasing game speed. 50 minutes into a later mission, my experience got worse when I asked my peasant to push a wall back into the void. The wall remained resolutely unabsorbed by the ground, cemented my peasants to its base, refused to be interacted with, and shortly thereafter crashed the game. This was kind of the last straw for me. Ultimately, the gameplay does speed up. This is largely due to its repetitive nature after the first few missions, and slow pacing combined with repetition is what lets this game down the most. If you want to play something in the style of this and haven't yet played Age of Empires 2, I would certainly recommend that. If you have the money to waste, you could get Age of Empires 2 HD.